Report Network has a new and exclusive line of clothing. First up, the Jiu-Jitsu Rash Guard. This isn't just gear, it's a statement. A commitment to eco-friendly battles on the mats and waves. And for those who live by the bold champion spirit, we have something special. A line for men and women designed not just for the fight, but for life. Wear our bold champion spirit of Jiu-Jitsu Rash Guard confidently. Its striking design with golden figures in combat honors the enduring spirit of competition in martial arts. Pair it with our unisex mesh shorts, the perfect combo of style, comfort, and eco-conscious design for the modern warrior. And don't forget, our Jiu-Jitsu Bold Champion Spirit leggings. This attire is expertly engineered to channel the champion spirit in every move you make. Together, it's not just about looking good. It's about feeling the part and living the Jiu-Jitsu way, both on and off the mats. Meticulously crafted for the yoga studio, the gym, and beyond, blending style, comfort, and the heart of a champion. Wear your passion, embody sustainability, and elevate your practice. Join the league of athletes who wear their values as proudly as their belts. It's more than clothing, it's a way of life. Ringside Report Network, where champions dress for success, sustainability, and the spirit of the sport.
Attention to all professional wrestling fans and followers of the legendary Johnny Genesis North. We are releasing a must-have collection of Johnny North merchandise in our store at merch.ringsidereport.net, starting with our limited edition Johnny Genesis North 3/4 sleeve t-shirt. With a unique design capturing Johnny in action, this tee exudes raw energy and intensity through its versatile 3/4 sleeves for any weather. Stand with our legendary co-host, Johnny North. Make a bold statement in the wrestling community by getting yours today, exclusively at merch.ringsidereport.net.
Get ready to amp up your betting game with Ringside Report Network's latest knockout offer. We've teamed up with our pals at bet99.com to bring you something that will shake up the betting world. Dave's Picks with boosted odds. Here's the lowdown. Normally you see odds like -200 over at Bet99, right? Picture this. We hit up our buddies at Bet99 and worked out some magic. Suddenly those odds? They're looking a whole lot sweeter at -150. That's right, and we're all about getting you those exclusive, juiced up odds, only for the Ringside Report universe. So here's the game plan. We dish out the picks, and you keep those eyes peeled. You might see a number on Bet99, but hold up. Wait until Saturday morning rolls around. Thanks to those boosted odds we've snagged for you, those numbers will look much better. I'm all for Bet99 doing great, but let's not kid ourselves. We want to win big too. It's all in good fun, and hey, it's part of the thrill of the game. They're in on it, and we're in on it. It's all about having a blast while pocketing some extra cash. Ready to take advantage of those boosted odds? Go to the special Ringside Report Bet99 link on your screen. We're all about seeing how much we can boost the odds for you, our loyal viewers. And a huge thank you to Bet99 for their support of the Ringside Report Network.
Yes, indeed. It's Ringside Report MMA. We are live. We're previewing UFC Vegas 90. We've got news on Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, and it's WrestleMania week.
Let's go!
You know what I mean? It's a week of MMA and pro wrestling. AJ, are you excited for WrestleMania? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling, man. I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling Cody Rhodes good, man.
Cody Rhodes good. That's very good.
That is very good.
Ooh,
the best of the best. He's the best wrestler of all time, man. Right there.
Best wrestler of all time.
Yeah, man. Well, of this time.
He's a reject from a B league.
Whoa there. Those are harsh words, man.
Wow, it's getting fiery already. So, Fred, I'm assuming that you want our tribal chief to remain on top, Roman Reigns.
But I'll tell you what, man. I know it's not gonna happen, but if Cody were to finish the story, and then like a minute later, Damian Priest cashes in and finishes the story for real, I wouldn't be opposed to something like that. You know, like having the people happy for only a minute and then have Damian Priest bring them back down to reality. Mm-hmm. I'd be down for that also.
The priest is going to need a priest.
AJ doesn't know who Damian Priest is. I think Damian Priest probably cashes in on the World Heavyweight Champion, probably Seth or Drew McIntyre or something. I think that's where he cashes in at WrestleMania, but we'll see. I'm looking forward to the weekend. It's going to be fun. We're going to preview it tomorrow night with Johnny North. But yeah, I'm hyped. I'm hyped for WrestleMania.
I'm listening in, guys. Tomorrow night, man. I don't understand why you hate so much like Cody. I think the guy has like that old school swagger. Every time I see him, I'm like, that guy is a wrestler. When he walks into the ring, I'm like, that guy's a wrestler. When he's like fighting, I'm like, man, this guy is exactly the type of wrestler I like, man. Above The Rock, too, dude. I'm telling you.
Grandson of a plumber.
What?
Yes. I like them both. I think they're both great, Cody and Roman Reigns. I think The Rock is obviously great, and I think The Rock is greater. I think that's the main issue that I'm having with this whole thing. I think that Cody is great, and Roman is great, and Solo is great, and Seth is great, and all these guys are great, but The Rock is in a league all to his own. And I think he's been making that pretty clear over the past couple of months now. He's been electrifying. He's been making pro wrestling far more fun to watch for me, and I think for everybody. Even if people don't like him and are resenting him and are booing him, I think that even those people could recognize, or at least attempt to recognize, AJ, that, The Rock is elevating everybody. He's making Cody better. He's making Roman better. He's making Seth better just by association with the greatness, with the legend that is The Rock. You don't think so, AJ? You don't think he's making them better? He's been pretty good, and he's bringing a lot of eyeballs onto the product that wouldn't necessarily be there otherwise. I think he's a good thing for everybody. I think he's a very good thing, actually, for the WWE.
What I find interesting? He must have had something against McMahon or something, because he was never present when McMahon was, like, there. Now that he's, like, really gone, he's off, like, the pedestal, off the show. It seems like
but that's the thing.
The Rock is back.
He's the perfect image he's the perfect image to get off of the McMahon. Like they named him an executive or something, I think, The Rock, just after that Vince McMahon scandal. And Rock is perfect guy to, let's forget about Vince. Look at this guy. And I just want to say something about The Rock, man. How old is he now? 47, 48? For a guy that never did steroids, man, you look great, The Rock. I'm just saying. For a guy that never did steroids, Rocky, man, I gotta admit, you look incredible.
I mean, I think
clean as a whistle.
If he does steroids, or if he's ever done steroids or anything, he still looks amazing, even for a guy who's done steroids. Other guys can do steroids, but The Rock, I'm not saying he's on steroids. I'm just saying even if he were, he looks better than the other guys that are on steroids. He's 51.
I want to be on whatever he's on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's working for him. 51 years of age. We'll see how he looks in the ring on Saturday night, where he will be wrestling in a match with his cousin Roman Reigns against Cody Rhodes.
You see, I'm more intrigued of Roman doesn't work much, and now we're asking him to work 2 nights in a row. Can he deliver 2 big shows in a row? And I mean, The Rock is great and all, but he hasn't fought in so long. Like, how long can The Rock really go? So who's going to be carrying that match? It's probably going to be more Seth and Cody, but they're on the same team. So one of those two, The Rock or Roman, has to work. And then the next day, Roman has to give us a great match against Cody again.
Yeah. I think Roman will be able to do it. He's pretty good. He's been champion for 3+ years for a reason. He's done very well with this character. He knows how to work it, and I think he'll deliver a great show over the weekend. I think the show will be about him ultimately, and he'll show why he is the centerpiece of the WWE. And we'll see if they pass the torch over to Cody. I'm not sure about it. I'm not sure.
Are you doing a watch-along?
No, we'll be doing a post show for night 1 right after night 1, and then night 2 is going to be on Sunday night, and it'll end pretty late. So we'll do the night 2 post show just before Raw Monday night. So Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time, we'll do the night 2 WrestleMania recap show. We'll have time to digest everything that's happened, and we'll give you a full review and recap, and look forward to what's happening on Raw. So that'll be a big weekend coming up for the Ringside Report Network. This weekend, WrestleMania weekend. Pretty good.
Already here, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, it happens once a year, and it is a big deal. Did you guys see Ariel Helwani on his show, The MMA Hour? I'm not going to criticize the man for covering pro wrestling on an MMA show, considering what we just did. Right? I don't think that would be fair. But I did see something. He had CM Punk on his show, which obviously made a lot of news in the wrestling world, and Punk had a lot of things to say, and we'll talk about that tomorrow with Johnny more in depth. I don't know, Fred, if you had a chance to see any of the Punk stuff. AJ, I'm sure you
Not
didn't.
much.
No. Anyways,
You know what? Usually I do.
AEW.
And what happened?
He spoke negatively about AEW. He tried to paint it like he was speaking positively and from a place.
Who does he hate more, AEW or UFC?
AEW, for sure.
You sure?
Why?
I'm not sure. Because I
for
watched
sure.
the Joakim Buckley interview a little bit that he had with him, and that one seemed to be a little
I thought you were
anti-UFC.
talking about Punk.
No, I'm talking about Helwani.
Oh, no, he hates UFC more than anything, I think. He hates the UFC and Dana White more than anything, and his whole mission in life is to hate on them. I don't know. I don't think it's to take them down, because that's not going to happen. Even he must realize that. It seems like his mission in life is to just kind of rally against the UFC constantly, all while talking about MMA and promoting the UFC. It's a weird gimmick he's got going for himself, but it's working.
Makes interesting content,
right?
you know?
It's working, and that CM Punk interview did a lot of business for him, I'm sure. But they ran an angle with Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch. Like, he was there to Rhea Ripley came on his show, and then Becky Lynch showed up. Like, she called, and she's like, "Oh, I'm in the building." And then her and Rhea had, like, a thing, and Helwani's there acting like it was all real. I don't like that. I don't like running an angle on a supposed real show and then the real host acting like it's all real when it's clearly like a wrestling angle that they're playing on the show. That stuff, I roll my eyes at that stuff. You know, it's just,
Yeah, but it makes for entertainment.
I mean, as you say that, if WWE wants to run an angle with us, we're completely willing to participate. So, but yeah.
And Dave's gonna go into character and all that. He's gonna start talking like every type of like character for sure. So
I'd have a hard time.
Nah, I don't think so. I think he will go straight into it.
I like to
give us some McMahon. Give us some McMahon, boys.
I think there's a way to tread the line where you can do it, treating it with respect and treating it real, while also, keeping a safe distance from making yourself a part of it. I think there's a way to do it, and we have done it before on the show with Johnny and stuff, and I think we've done it properly. We've kind of done little angles here and there for Johnny's matches or whatever, and it's always done kind of straight, Anyways, I just thought it was kind of funny. I was like, what is this? What is he doing here? It's it's WrestleMania week. I get it. It's a lot of promotion, and he's trying to get in good with WWE. Even though, they are owned by the same people that own the UFC, who he absolutely hates, right? It's like, I don't... Right?
Yeah, I guess he forgot about that.
Yeah, shoot, exactly. Handle it in a shoot kind of way, but this was not a shoot. This clearly looked like a work the whole way through, and it was treated just like an angle on WWE TV. It's kind of silly. It didn't work for me from a pro wrestling standpoint or from an MMA standpoint, but whatever. I'm sure he was paid well for it, and that's really what's important.
And I'm sure he got tremendous views on it, so that's all that counts in the end.
Yeah, that's it. It's making money.
That's
so,
what he goes for.
That's working.
Look, Ariel,
I just thought it was kind of
Ariel knows,
cheesy.
Man.
I cringed a little bit. I was like, yeah, come on. Like, the Punk interview was good. You had it. It was good, solid. And then the Becky Lynch, Rhea Ripley angle on the show. I was like, what is this? This is silly. I don't like that stuff. Okay. AJ, I got to give it to you. Got to give it to AJ. Here it comes. Manon Fiorot with a unbelievable performance last weekend. Looking fantastic. Top of the line. Defeating Aaron Blanchfield soundly in the main event in Atlantic City by decision. And just another stellar performance from Manon, who continues her rise here in the UFC. All three judges scoring at 50-45. That's all 5 rounds in favor of the winner, Manon Fiorot, and beating the very tough Aaron Blanchfield, who was undefeated in the UFC on a great run. And I think there's still a very bright future, by the way, for Aaron Blanchfield, who's only 24 years of age and went the distance with Manon Fiorot. Manon, is 34. Aaron is 24. I think in 5 years, the fight might go a little bit different, because of age and how things go. But right now, it went very well for Manon Fiorot, and I think the next stop is a title shot, because this is it. This is the prime of her career. She just won against one of the top contenders in the world. I don't see any way the UFC denies her a title shot now. I think that she fights the winner of Valentina and Alexa Grasso. The only problem is, which we discussed a bit last week on the show, is that Valentina and Alexa Grasso are doing The Ultimate Fighter, and that show hasn't even started to air. I don't even know if I guess they might be filming it now, but that fight between Valentina and Grasso probably won't happen until, I would say, September, maybe August at the earliest, December at the latest. It's going to happen this year, but later, unless somebody gets hurt. If somebody gets hurt, then I think Manon steps in, and you either do Manon versus Grasso for the title if Valentina gets hurt, or Manon versus Valentina for an interim belt if Grasso gets hurt and the fight doesn't happen by some point this year. But I think either way, Manon's going to have to wait. Unless somebody gets hurt and she slides in and gets a fight, I think she's going to have to wait till 2025 to fight for a title. And sitting here having fought at the end of March, it's early April now, she's going to have some decisions to make. Do you wait? What do you think, AJ? Do you wait You weren't on live, AJ, but I know you were picking Fiorot over Blanchfield. You didn't really give picks for the rest of the card, but clearly, I know Angelo's like, how come AJ gets credit for the pick? He wasn't on the show last week, but I know AJ. I know
because I've been saying it for years.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But what would you do? What would you do if
guys.
you're Manon Fiorot's manager? What do you advise her to do?
Hey, Dave,
Man,
here's my parlay. On the prelims, I pick every underdog to win.
That bastard again.
AIAJ. He's the guy we have for backup.
That AIAJ I heard last week was freaking me out. I thought he was like my twin brother, Antonio, Rodrigo.
Noguera.
Perez, Garcia, Dalijo.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you something. I was like not surprised by the outcome of Manon Fiorot, and I told you that from a long time ago.
Yeah, I know.
Did you see
I asked you a question,
did you
though.
see her
Should she
physique?
wait?
Look, man, I wouldn't want to make her wait. This girl is exciting. People got a taste of Manon Fiorot last week, and they realized this girl is dangerous. Honestly, man, when I was watching her fight, I was like, Jesus, I knew she was good, but she looks so much better. Her striking game, the way she was just executing, she didn't go for the kill, man. She just went for just a breakdown. She broke down Blanchfield on every round. It was ridiculous. I got to give it to Blanchfield for standing there and taking it. But it was outclassed. How can you make someone like that wait? How? I want to see her fight. You know what I'm saying? And I will see her like hold that title. I knew she could do it. I know she will do it. And man, she's big, man. Did you see the size of her? Holy smokes.
Yeah, but see what's happening here, Fred? I said, AJ, what would you do if you're Manon Fiorot's manager? Do you advise her to wait for the title shot or take a fight in between? And you just said, why would she have to wait? I want her to fight. She's going to be the champion. So I don't really know what you're saying.
No. What I'm trying to say is she's going to get to like the title spot at some point, but she needs to fight to stay relevant. So if I were her manager, I know she's going to win whoever she fights. There's no girl in that division that's going to be able to beat her. So whoever wants to fight her this year, you'll give it to her. You give her that fight. And you know what? She's coming for that belt. But she needs to stay relevant. And she looks good, man. She's hot. Bring up her status.
I might have to say AJ is right on this one because if she doesn't fight for like 9 months to a year, this is still a division that's not very glamorous. Like the
Pineapple Cup,
Grasso and Valentina. They got a nice little rivalry, but it's not like a men's division that has a lot of history behind it and everything. So, and Manon Fiorot also isn't the biggest star out there. So if she's not active, people are going to forget about her. That won't mean that she doesn't deserve a title shot, but like right now she's a hot commodity. I'm not sure she's that hot of a commodity in 9 months to 12 months. So maybe try to give her an easy matchup just so she stays active. Just so she dominates somebody else and you put it on her highlight reel and then give her the title shot.
I think Macy Barber is the logical fight. Macy Barber just fought at UFC 299 on March 9th. She beat Caitlin Chukagian by decision. Macy Barber right now is ranked 4th in the UFC's flyweight rankings. Manon is ranked 2nd. I think that's the fight to make while you wait. Rose Namajunas just picked up a win. She's out there, but Manon just fought her and beat her. So, but I think the issue here is with Rose Namajunas more than fighting Manon Fiorot is that if Manon stays inactive, Fred, as you mentioned, and if Rose picks up another win, the UFC may turn around and say, yeah, well, we're going to give Rose the next shot against Grasso or Shevchenko because Rose is a star and people know Rose. And then Manon would be kind of waiting. So, yeah, taking a fight is probably the move, but the fight to take is probably Macy Barber, which is a very difficult fight because, as I said, she just beat Caitlin Chukagian. She's ranked 4th in the world, and she's very good. It's another tough fight. There are no easy fights. If you take another fight, the UFC can't just give her somebody that's, unranked or ranked outside of the top 10. You got to give her somebody serious, and I think Macy Barber is the best fight. And it's a good fight for Macy Barber, too, because Macy can beat Manon, which, is possible. I know AJ's going to say it's not, but, it's a fight. Anything can happen, right? If Macy beats Manon, then Macy finds herself as a number one contender, which is fine, too, because I think she's going to be a star for the division. There's a lot of potential stars in the 125-pound division. You got Valentina and Alexa Grasso on top there, but you got Manon Fiorot now. Aaron Blanchfield is still there. Macy Barber's there. Jessica Andrade is there. Rose Namajunas is there. Caitlin Chukagian is there. Amanda Ribas is there. There's a lot of fighters. There's a lot of fun fighters to watch at 125. I think Macy and Manon is the fight to make. AJ, you give Macy no shot?
No.
Fred?
And you know what? I don't see...
Whatever, AJ. It's okay. Really... You're biased, but you've been right.
I'm not biased, man, but
you are.
Let's be honest.
I mean, the performance that Manon did, she has to be the favorite for sure. Yeah. So I'm gonna pick Manon, and she's gonna be a decent favorite. I'd say at least minus 200, if not more.
Yeah, you got to look at her performance. Regardless of if you think I'm biased or not, I'm just looking at her as an athlete, and she impressed me from the beginning, and she impressed me so much more leading up this last Saturday's fight, where I'm like, damn, this girl is just, she's at her peak, man. For the next, couple of years, this girl is at her peak. This is dangerous, man. And she looked like so composed in that fight. Did she look like she was at any point concerned or out of her element? The girl was focused, and I really liked her style. Her style of fighting was really like an intelligent fighter. She wasn't just doing whatever she wanted to. She could have taken more throws, Soto Gary's. She didn't play that game. She realized that she could beat her standing up, and she continued with that game. Continued. I think her strike count was literally double by the end. It was insane.
Yeah.
So,
it was a great fight. She looked, like a world champion.
She's a hot tamale, too.
You keep saying that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, Fred was talking about the hot stuff, man, so I'm throwing in, the tamale side.
Okay. Tamale!
Hablo español!
Are we going to a cockfight to watch Little Jerry?
Woo! I don't know about a cockfight, but hey.
It's a Seinfeld thing. They're at the cockfight.
It's not what you think, AJ. A cockfight is not what you think.
Yeah, it's like chickens or roosters fighting. They go to the cockfights to watch Little Jerry Seinfeld do the cockfight, and then George is saying, they're saying, stop the fight, and then George is like, tamale. I hear tamale. That's all I can think of. I don't even know what tamale is. I just know that George had it at the cockfight with Little Jerry. It's a good one. Good episode. Okay, guys. So we have fights this weekend coming up. It is Chris Curtis versus Brendan Allen. It is a rematch from a few years ago when Allen was a younger man. Allen now is 28 years old. When these guys fought, he was 25. Much younger in his MMA career. Lost by TKO to Chris Curtis. Since then, he has racked up 6 straight wins, including a submission of Paul Craig in his last fight, which was pretty damn impressive. Brendan Allen has looked better and better every time he's stepped in there since the Chris Curtis fight. And Chris Curtis, he came in hot to the UFC on short notice, beat Phil Hawes. A month later, beat Brendan Allen. He had a great run. Beat Rodolfo Vieira. Then he stumbled with a decision loss to Jack Hermanson. Came right back, knocked out Joaquin Buckley, who had a really impressive win over Vicente Luque last weekend too, right? That was a nice win for Buckley, dropping down to 170 in that fight. That was a big fight. But then Curtis fell to Kevin Gastelum. He had a no contest with Nasruddin Imavov with headbutts there. And then in his last fight, he beat Marc-André Barriault by split decision. Curtis now 36 years old. He's had his ups and his downs in the past couple of years, while Brendan Allen has just gone up, up, and up. And I think by the preview and by the tone of it, you can see where I'm headed here. Brendan Allen minus 215, the favorite. Chris Curtis plus 175, the underdog. I think the odds makers have it right. I think Brendan Allen takes this fight. I think the last time he fought Chris Curtis, Curtis was maybe in his head a little bit. Brendan Allen had fought Curtis's teammate Sean Strickland not that long before the Curtis fight and got knocked out by Sean Strickland. And, I don't know. That team just kind of had his number at that point in time. But I feel like he's turned it around. He's improved a great deal. I think Chris Curtis, I actually made money on Chris Curtis's early fights in the UFC. He was an underdog, and he was winning fights for me. And I've been paying close attention to his fight career. And I feel like at 36, we've kind of seen who he is, what he is, and the best of his game, whereas Brendan Allen just keeps impressing, just keeps getting better. He's got 4 straight wins by rear naked choke. Krzysztof Jotko, Andre Muniz, Bruno Silva, and Paul Craig. 4 straight wins. And to tap Paul Craig, he out-grappled Paul Craig. Like, completely.
That's scary, man.
AJ, you got all grainy. I don't know what's going on with your camera or your internet connection, but you look weird. Fred and I look sharp. You look all something.
Man, what happened? Good, man, with my new setup.
I don't know. You're bugging out, AJ. But I feel like Brendan Allen just keeps getting better. I've been very impressed with him. I think he's going to win. I'm going with Brendan Allen in the main event, minus 215. Makes sense to me. Freddie, what do you think? It's your internet connection, AJ. Apparently it sucks.
Whatever. Everything was going. What the hell, man?
I'm going to go with Brendan Allen also, mostly because Chris Curtis, I think you said 36. Brendan Allen, late 20s. Brendan Allen is probably in his better place in his career. The only thing that scares me is that Chris Curtis, I think, has only been submitted once in his career. So this guy is a tough guy. So if this fight becomes a scrap, like a brawl where two guys are trading a lot of punches, I could see Chris Curtis having success in that type of fight. Whereas I think Brendan Allen probably wants to try to bring it to the ground he doesn't want to be trading punches for punches with Chris Curtis. So that's the way of success for Chris Curtis. But I'm going to go with the age factor, like you mentioned, Brendan Allen being in a better place right now in his career. Curtis did look good against Barry O, though, so I'm not going to underestimate him also. And with the odds, I'm not going to put Brendan Allen on my parlay because I don't think the odds are that great. But I'll pick him to win.
I've seen Curtis struggle with the takedown. His takedown defense isn't great. If Allen takes him down and doesn't keep it standing, I think he's got a pretty clear path to victory. AJ, what do you think? Are you going with Brendan Allen here in the main event?
Look, man, like the last time they fought, there was no doubt about it. Like, he made some mistakes and whatnot. I think that if it gets to the ground like Allen wants to, it's going to be like a massive advantage for this guy. I think it's going to be going with the younger guy as well. I think Brendan Allen to take it to Chris Curtis. Like I said, he's not going to make the same mistakes he did 2 years prior. But we always got to remember that Curtis has a good takedown defense. So if Allen is able to penetrate that, it's going to be a completely different story, which I think he will. Like you said, man, he was able to grapple Paul Craig, and we know Paul Craig, man. This guy is like the trickiest of the trickiest. That's done some damage to elite fighters. Sometimes at the last second. You got to give it to Allen, man. Sometimes you just have a bad day. I think that was his bad day with Chris Curtis 2 years ago. I think it's going to be a different story now. It's going to be 7 in a row.
All right, so we are unanimous here with the main event, going with Brendan Allen. And AJ, I'm going to have you disconnect and then reconnect because you're
Is it that bad?
Terrible. Yeah, get out of here.
What the hell, man?
Disconnect and come back to me. It's just going to be me and you, Fred, for a bit while we figure AJ out because he's just, his microphone is weird. We got to get him a new mic. We got to get him a new internet connection apparently now. Try to get
I might
AJ.
have told a lie. I said I'm not putting Brendan Allen on my parlay, but I think I am, actually.
Yeah, because there's no other fights to really pick on this card. I mean,
I got a little parlay I could already give you as we wait for AJ. I got Brendan Allen. Alex Hernandez, I think, is going to win in the co-main event.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with Alex Morono to complete that parlay.
Ooh, Morono over Court McGee. I like it. Let's see. That's a 3-fight parlay at plus 186. It's 20 to win 57 at bet99.ringsidereport.net. Sign up right now using our link. Bet99.ringsidereport.net. Go with Team Fred. There's a Team Fred parlay as AJ struggles to reconnect with us. AJ's going with Brendan Allen, Alex Morono, and Alex Hernandez. Brendan and a couple of Alexes for Team Fred. It's a 3-fight parlay that will get you 57-21 over at bet99.com. Plus 186 for this 3-fight parlay from Team Fred. And I think AJ's trying to reconnect. AJ, are you with us? What are you doing?
I'm with you, man. I'm just trying to. You just have to turn me on while the phone is up my nostrils, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was your internet connection. I don't know why you're repositioning your camera. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but...
No, man, I had to I rebooted, man.
Rebooted. He booted it
if
up
you wanted
again.
To call it that.
All right, so Fred just gave us his 3-fight parlay. He gave us Morono, Hernandez, and Allen. AJ, do you have a parlay for this UFC Vegas 90 card live at the Apex this Saturday?
With the limited tickets, man. 4 per family. What a joke. Absolutely, man. I'm going to go with Brendan Allen on this one.
Yeah.
Then it's going to be a tough one between Alexander Hernandez and Damon Jackson. But I will be going with Hernandez on that fight. Going with Ignacio Bahamondes.
Okay.
Against Christos
Giagos. Yep.
And then the thing is that, like, a lot of people are saying, like, different things about this Walter the Walker. I mean, Walter, everybody likes Walter. But the thing is, he's 11-0. Apparently, they're like, but he hasn't fought anybody great, whatever. Like, it's a patted down record and whatnot. I looked at this guy's fights, man. If he's patted down, I mean, he looked pretty good. So I think here, with this heavyweight fight, both of these guys, from what I saw, don't have the best cardio. But I'm going to go with, Walter the Walker for this to start the night.
All right. Walter the Walker. So that's a 4-fight parlay from Team AJ. Let's see what this one will give us. It's 4 fights. Let me see where it is. There it is. Brendan Allen, Walter the Walker, Ignacio Bahamondes, and Alexander Hernandez. It's 20 at plus 286 to win you 77-24 over at bet99.com. 4 favorites here on the Team AJ parlay. I could see this coming through. 20 to win 77-24 over at bet99.com. It is the 4-fight Team AJ parlay. And in a moment here, I will give you the Team Dave parlay that is maybe not as ambitious as the Team AJ or even the Team Fred parlay. Or maybe more ambitious. You guys will tell me. I'm going to go with a 2-fight parlay. So not as fun, not as crazy, right? And I'm going to give you something a little different. I'm going to give you Brendan Allen in the main event because I really believe in him. I think he's going to win. And then I'm going to give you a prelim fight, making her return after about 4 years away, after giving birth, the former world champion, the Iron Lady, Germaine de Randamie, back in the octagon, taking on Norma Dumont Viana. Germaine de Randamie, plus 130, the underdog. I'm going to go with the Iron Lady. I think she returns and returns impressively. She's always been very good world champion fighter. She is, one of the top women's fighters in the history of the UFC, and I feel like she really doesn't get her credit, and I'm looking at this, And the betting odd, the fact that she's an underdog here is a surprise, so I'm going to jump all over it at plus 130. I'm going with the Iron Lady, Jermaine de Randamie over Normand Dumont Viana. Jermaine de Randamie plus 130, Brennan Allen minus 215, the favorite. It's a $20 parlay to win $67.40. It's plus 237. So it's not a bad return on a two-fight parlay here with the underdog, Jermaine de Randamie, who, like I said, she hasn't fought in, I think it's 4 years.
Which is surprising, man. Wow.
Well, she got pregnant, and then she gave birth, and she took some time. You know, she fought in October of 2020 when she beat Juliana Pena with a guillotine. She choked her out.
I remember that, and it doesn't seem like it's 4 years ago, which is kind of scary. But yeah,
October of
Holy
2020,
smoke,
not quite 4 years ago, 3 years and a bit, but it's a 3-year and 6-month break for Jermaine de Randamie, who was going to fight in 2021, but she had an injury. So she had an injury, and then I think she was pregnant, right? I have that right? I'm pretty sure she was pregnant, and then now she's back. Yes.
Well,
she was
back,
pregnant in 2022. She gave birth in March 2023. Yeah, it makes sense here. About a year later, she's back fighting. That makes sense. So, yeah, it takes time. And I think even though she hasn't fought in like 3.5 years, she's 39 years old, I'm still picking her to win. I think this is definitely a winnable fight. I think she wins, and at plus 130, I like those odds. The Iron Lady. She's a beast. So that's my parlay.
There's a few ladies there. Cynthia Cavillo is there as well.
Yeah.
Fighting on that card.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, and it opens up with Nora Cornol versus Melissa Mullins, a women's bantamweight fight, which we don't have a lot of. 2 women's bantamweight fights on this card, Norma Dumont and Jermaine de Randamie, and the opener there, Melissa Mullins and Nora Cornol.
And they both have some nice records. I mean, Melissa's 6-0 and Nora's like 7-1.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know too much about these girls, but I'm going to be watching it.
Yeah. Nora from, what is that, Norway? No, Melissa is from Norway, I believe. No, England, sorry. She's English, and Nora is from France. A couple of Europeans on this card in Las Vegas. Coming up on Saturday for the UFC. Tomorrow, the PFL starts their 2024 season. They've got PFL 1 going down tomorrow, main evented by Valentin Moldavsky versus Ante Delia in a heavyweight fight. I believe this is the beginning of their tournament, right? Their heavyweight tournament on the men's side and the women's flyweight tournament, both starting tomorrow night. Oh, no. Sorry. Is it tonight?
It's tonight because there's some results already.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
it's
PFL.
Tonight.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. It is tonight. Yeah, we do have fights tonight. PFL 1 is going on right now. They have some prelims going on. And on the main card later tonight, we'll have Dakota Decheva versus Lisa Malden and Liz Carmouche versus Juliana Velasquez, both women's flyweight tournament fights. And then the men's fights, Valentin Moldavsky versus Ante Delia and Linton Vassell versus Denis Goltsov, coming up tonight. PFL 1 in San Antonio, Texas. I have my eye on PFL 2. PFL 2 will feature Michael Dufort, who is from Montreal, who trains at H2O. And we saw him compete at the last quintet event in submission grappling in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and it was very impressive. I've seen him compete before in MMA and in grappling, and he is quite a prospect. And Mikhail Zufar is going to be fighting in the PFL tournament. His first fight coming up, I believe, next week. Next Friday, Zufar taking on Mads Burnell in the opening round of the lightweight tournament, a tournament that has been won by Zufal's training partner, Olivier Aubin-Mercier, the past 2 years in the PFL, and Zufal looking to keep those millionaires coming down Monk Street for Richard Ho and the boys over at H2O, right? Just millionaires walking down Monk, just chilling.
Bucks,
Olivier, Zufal, and Richard Ho just
the Canadian gangster,
running the
man.
show.
He's really the Canadian gangster, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The money, the strut, the name. These guys are doing it well. But I'm going to tell you something. I wonder if Olivier is going to be in his corner, but you know that he's training with him. I mean, I've seen this guy's jiu-jitsu, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
The guy is, like, super dangerous. Like, I'll be honest, I don't know much about his striking game, but...
Yo, that whole team is ridiculous. The H2O team is crazy. Like, we saw them compete at the Quintet. They got some killers on that squad. Like, Zufal is, iron sharpens iron, He's training with some guys over there. They've got that guy Duprat, who's really good there. Fred Duprat, he was a kick-ass. Like, they got some guys over there at H2O. They're rolling. And, they got Olivier. He was first out, but Zufal, I think, is next up. And I believe he's an underdog against Burnell, which is great for us because we're going to cash in.
Well, it kind of makes sense. He's coming into that league, as an unknown. Look, sometimes it's better to have that less of a pressure going in where you're the underdog and you just prove to everybody who you are. And let me tell you, if he can play that game that he did in the grappling department, this kid's going to be like very impressive. But this is another a big thumbs up for like the Montreal fighting scene. It doesn't matter, like, there's so many gyms here, but literally every gym in Montreal produces some form of champion, man. If it's not on the MMA circuit, it's on the jiu-jitsu circuit. And that's one thing with Montreal, man. They have such great combat teams. It is crazy, man. It's unbelievable. It's like, I'm so happy to see this,
Yeah, me too. It's awesome.
Like, the future looks very bright for Montreal, man. Like, I'm not saying that another Georges St. Pierre will come out of Quebec, but let me tell you, man, I don't want to say that anybody could. I think it's possible, dude. Yeah. I really do. Like, everybody says, oh, you can't, like, have another Gretzky. Well, Sidney Crosby was there, and, Mario Lemieux was there, and whatever. It's hard to, it's hard to replicate that. But, man, another decade comes, and you have, like, this superstar. And I think the Montreal fighting scene is going to have, like, we have Olivier Aubin-Mercier, man, that came in and, like, dominated the PFL 2 seasons in a row. That's not a joke, man. This guy is unbelievable. But I'm just saying is that in the UFC, everybody, like, obviously wants to see the champion in the UFC. I think Quebec is going to produce another champion. Like,
yeah, I think so
within
too.
a very short time.
I think it'll happen eventually. I don't know when, but I think Quebec will have another world champion, UFC champion. I think it'll happen again. I don't know if they'll ever be as dominant as Georges St. Pierre because it'll be hard for any champion from any country, any province, whatever any part of the world to be as dominant as Georges St. Pierre was, because we've seen it in the several years since he's retired now. Still no one's been as dominant on top as GSP, outside of maybe John Jones, but GSP is his run as the welterweight champion is going to be tough to match. But he's I think that the Quebec scene is very strong, and he is one of the main reasons why the Quebec scene is very strong. I think that, a lot of kids grew up looking up to Georges St. Pierre and wanting to be like Georges St. Pierre, and that produced a lot of talent, and the talent is continuing to be produced, and people are learning, and people are training, and it's everywhere. We see it all the time. Man. We see it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, the level of the game has gotten so much better. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean,
it's great.
It's like it just makes you wonder, how did it get to that level? And I'm just saying it because we've watched like 2 tournaments in the last couple of months where we saw some of the most elite grapplers here in Montreal or Quebec for that matter, and you see their game level, and it's like, what the hell, man? Like, it's gotten to a level where it's crazy, and it's only going to get better because we have kids like in the MMA scene, starting at a very young age, man. We're looking at 10 years old, and there's and younger, where they're getting into like that mixed martial art aspect, and it's insane, man. Like,
Yeah.
I'm seeing it, and I'm like, wow.
And it's cool too because
like, where does it go next?
We really know because we're actually seeing it, living it, experiencing it. I mean, all three of us are rolling with some of these, future superstars and phenoms and, guys training at a world-class level. And it's amazing to see, We're seeing it at 10th Planet. AJ, you're seeing it over at BTT. Like, it's here. We're seeing some of these guys. They're just unbelievable, the level. And how fast people progress. Some of these young guys are just levels beyond, and the new styles of jiu-jitsu too that we're really seeing.
Yep.
How jiu-jitsu changes. How jiu-jitsu changes and evolves, and but I feel like the basics still work, and some of the fundamentals are always going to be there. But hey, that's the game, and it is fun. It is super fun to watch. Yeah. It's super fun to be a part of, and that's why we love martial arts and mixed martial arts and jiu-jitsu and all of these things. All of these things.
Everything of all aspects of martial arts, from obviously from wrestling to Muay Thai to karate to kung fu, you name it. Everything has a purpose, and you know what? If you you look at George St. Pierre. A black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, a black belt in Shotokan Karate. That was his basis, and it's important to have like some foundation in whatever type of martial art, and then you can expand from there. That's the key thing. You have to build a discipline, and that's where it all starts from. So,
so
the kids that are training today are so well disciplined. It's unbelievable.
They are. And the youth, youth is so powerful, especially when you're fighting an old man. Unless it's an exhibition, in which case it doesn't really matter, which will be the case for Jake Paul when he boxes Mike Tyson in July on Netflix. It's going to be an exhibition boxing match, which means it's not real, which means they're going to box, kind of.
Yes
but,
and no.
There's no winner at the end, so they'll have a nice little show of it. It'll be like when Floyd Mayweather boxed Logan Paul. They had a little boxing match. It went the distance, and then no winner was announced, and it just ended, and it was up to you to decide who won, which really sucks. Of course, if there's a knockout, then it's clear that someone has won, and that's on the table. You can knock your opponent out, but I don't think either man is going to be shooting for that. I think they're both going to be having a nice little sparring match, and then they'll go home with a paycheck and a show on Netflix, and they'll have an experience that they could talk about. It's an exhibition. If this were real, if this were worth something, it would be a real boxing match. Mike Tyson, maybe he can't get licensed, and that's why it's an exhibition. I know Jake Paul can get licensed. He's been in real boxing matches very recently. Not exhibitions, professional bouts where if it goes the distance, the judges decide and there is a winner. That will not be the case here with Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. If it goes the distance, it will not have a winner. It will just end. It won't be a draw. It won't be anything. It'll just be
unless somebody gets knocked out, Dave.
It'll be a sparring match, and no one will get knocked out. I'd bet on that,
man.
But I can't bet on that. I can't bet on the fight because it's an exhibition, which is not real, which means you can't actually bet on it because you can't bet on a sporting event that has the potential of having no winner.
My interest just went really down.
Me too.
Yeah, you killed it, Dave. But I'm going to tell you this. I'm hoping that Mike
I didn't make it an exhibition, motherfucker.
You killed it, man. But I'm going to tell you this. Yeah, you just no, I was trying to stay enthusiastic like Fred. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, fuck, Dave just killed it for you. I'm trying to find something. And all I'm hoping is this, that Tyson does the Evander Holyfield bite the ear kind of shit and knocks the hell out of Jake Paul. Mm-hmm. And I want Jake Paul to try to knock out Tyson because the more you get that guy angry, the more intense it's going to be. You know what? This exhibition thing, I mean, the only thing that could come out of it is that somebody could get knocked out. Okay? They're probably
but also part of it, I think they're wearing 16-ounce gloves, which is 6. Yeah, they're wearing the super big gloves. The pillowcases, come on, man.
No one's getting hurt. No one's getting knocked out in 16-ounce gloves. Those are bag gloves. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Look, I hope
What a
they change the
joke.
rule. I hope something
outta
like
here.
changes on that.
It's not going to change because it's a fake fight. Because Mike Tyson knows in a real fight he'd get knocked out. He doesn't want to be embarrassed.
What? Are you crazy, man?
What's up?
Blasphemy, Dave. You have no idea who Iron Mike Tyson is.
Here, let me tell you this. There's only one of those guys who's fighting real boxing matches, and it's not Mike Tyson.
I mean, look at who Jake Paul fought.
Yeah, but Mike Tyson's not actually fighting pro boxing matches in like the past 5 years. That fight with Roy Jones was also an exhibition, you know. He's only doing these exhibitions.
I mean, Dave, if me and you do a professional boxing fight, is it really a professional boxing fight? I mean,
yeah.
Jake Paul fighting Ben Askren doesn't make it a professional boxing fight.
Fred, do you want to do it? I think it would be really ugly. We can wear headgear.
I'd lose.
I don't know. You might not. You might not. I might lose.
16 ounce, man.
Fred, let's do an exhibition so that we both, neither of us have to lose. How about that? We'll wear 18-ounce gloves and nobody will lose.
Or just take 2 pillows and have a pillow fight, man. It'll be more interesting.
We might as well. That's what they're doing.
In their pajamas, fuck. Well, listen, man. You know what? Well, listen, it still might change, Dave. Let's hope for the best.
Why?
That those rules get like thrown out the door.
They won't.
I think the reason why they're saying that kind of stuff is that because of Tyson's age, I think there's some medical things that he has to complete because of his age. I think it's supposed to be I
can't get licensed to fight.
37 or whatever. He has to do like all kinds of like neurological tests and heart tests and all that, and he has to pass them. So I think they're concerned, like, okay, maybe he doesn't pass something, and then they'll have to close the fight. But if they use it as an exhibition fight, it kind of like sort of goes around those rules and regulations. But again, you know, this is Mike Tyson. So if you get Iron Mike angry, I'm telling you, man, even if it was an 80-year-old Mike Tyson, I'd still tell you to watch out, dude, because he can still knock you the fuck out.
Ridiculous. That's all I got to say about that.
And anyone who doesn't think Mike Tyson could knock someone out.
All right.
Listen, man, the guy, I know you think it's a joke, but he wanted to pay $10,000 to a zookeeper to fight a gorilla. The guy used to walk around with a tiger and sleep with a tiger in his bed. Talk about alpha male, dude.
How about this?
He's dangerous.
You guys saw Roadhouse, right? The Conor McGregor movie?
Ooh, great movie. Fantastic.
I thought Patrick Swayze
was I wasn't yeah, man. I was upset. I'm like, don't kill Patrick Swayze, man. Well,
if you want to see Conor McGregor roided walking naked, yeah, go.
Naked? What do you mean naked? You see his dick?
Oh, yeah.
You see his dick?
No, but you see his
He's
ass.
got the Harvey Keitel.
You see his actual ass? Is it an ass double, or is it really his ass in the movie?
I gotta think
really
it's
his ass,
his.
man.
I gotta think it's
his.
That's crazy.
Conor doesn't need no
Why is he
doubles
showing
for
his
that, man.
ass in a movie? What is this? No Diddy.
You get more money. You get P. Diddy loves that part. But I'm going to tell you.
Yo, Conor went to one of those Diddy parties and he stayed too late, and that's why he's showing his ass in the Roadhouse movie, man. It's all connected, dude.
Man, okay, so this week I was on YouTube and I saw a video of somebody that was analyzing Conor McGregor before, like, you know, his title run, before the Jose Aldo fight, and after the party. Yeah, exactly. And man, Conor, Conor's not winning, man. Conor is coming back for a Conor's coming back for a cash grab, and that's it.
Yep. If he does come back, who knows, man? He's trying to make this movie thing work. Why would he come back? This movie is the #1 streamed movie on Amazon Prime of all time.
Is that crazy or what?
That's crazy.
Is that crazy?
It was decent still.
But the fact that everybody's watching it doesn't matter if it was good or not. The fact that it has drawn so many people in, and I gotta figure that some of that draw is Conor McGregor.
100% it's Conor McGregor.
Are probably not tuning in if Conor's not in it, right? Like AJ is tuning in for sure because of Conor, and Fred, I think you are too.
Absolutely.
And
well, you know what? Like I
the
told
only
you
reason
earlier,
I would watch this movie is because Connor's in it. Now that I know his ass is in it, I'm for sure gonna watch because
I'm gonna tell you something. Remember what I said a couple of weeks back? I was like upset that they're doing the remake, like from Patrick Swayze. That was a great movie, Roadhouse. I said they're gonna kill Roadhouse. Patrick Swayze was the bomb. But I'm gonna tell you something. The bomb, man. And I'm gonna tell you after watching this Roadhouse 2.0 with Conor McGregor, he's not only an amazing job. Can you hear me?
I don't know. I think something glitched out.
Did you hear what I said?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Everything froze for me.
Did everything freeze for all of us, maybe? I think we're good.
Yeah.
Are we good, Fred?
Did you hear me what I said about Conor?
Yeah.
You heard me, Mofo?
What about him? You like his butt? He had a nice way-shaped butt.
Well, he has he has a leprechaun butt. But I'm going to tell you something. I don't know if you heard me what I said about like Patrick Swayze, because it was hard to like replace Patrick Swayze with a 2.0 Roadhouse. But after watching the movie, and even like from when it first started with Jake Gyllenhaal, I like his character, Smiley. I'm going to tell you, this was a great movie, and Conor was fantastic in it. And you know what? When you look at the stats, this movie got over 50 million views in the first 2 weekends.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That is insane.
It's crazy.
That's insane.
And, that
means
something,
why?
Though.
It's the power of Conor.
That's it. It is the power of Conor, and it does mean something. And the fact that the movie has done so well, people are going to come to Conor for more movie roles now. Like, if you have a successful
100%.
movie, more movies come to you, regardless of your performance, regardless of how you act in public and how you are. People are going to come to you and try to make movies with you, and Conor may have a whole new career on his hands. And if he does, forget the fights, forget the octagon. It's never going to happen. Like, if he does another movie, that delays him for another 2-3 years. He probably never comes back. It would be stupid to come back and fight after so many years away doing movies where you're making so much more money. Like, it's just, at this point, because the movie's been so successful, he may never come back because Hollywood will be calling for another one. How that goes, who knows? But the first one went very well, which means he's going to get another shot or two. Like, if he goes and becomes The Rock, right, then, like, The Rock only comes back to wrestle every so often. And Conor, you can't do that as an MMA fighter. So it's going to be a wrap for his MMA career. He may never fight Michael Chandler. Still, like, I'm not convinced he's going to do that fight. The fact that the movie's doing so well makes me think there's no reason to do the fight. And he probably won't. He may never fight again. There's really no reason to at this point. He's been so successful in everything he's done. It's crazy the way you see him and he acts and he's bananas, right? Like, he's just out of control. But, my God, everything he touches has turned to gold. Like, he came out with the whiskey, and you're like, all right, it's a gimmick, whatever. He sells it for, like, $1 billion. You're like, what? What is that? Like, everything he does, it's working. It's crazy.
And think about, like, you know what, Dave, and you know what the craziest part about all this is that if you looked at Conor's, like, origins, like, where he started, the guy was, like, evading, like, all kinds of creditors and people that wanted money because he wasn't paying. He was living out of a van. Like, he literally was living out of a van, ready to give up on MMA. And if it wasn't for his wife to persuade him to keep on with that dream, Conor would be nowhere. His first UFC fight, he got, like, $5,000. That was enough to pay some of the bills and the gas for that shit-ass van that he had. It just goes to show you, like, how does he do it? And you're absolutely right. He's got the luck of the Irish. I mean, this guy, beyond luck of the Irish. I mean, but everything he touched turns to gold.
Yep. It's pretty fantastic, and I'm happy for him. I like to see that underdog story, the guy coming from nothing and turning into just a megastar all through MMA. I love to see it because the fact that he can do it makes it possible for so many other guys to do it and to succeed and to rise up. So I think it's great.
The only problem with all that is that since he's become that star, he hasn't been really focused on MMA. It feels he's always been like in and out of his MMA career ever since like that Floyd Mayweather fight, maybe a little bit before that even. So that's unfortunate. And right now I'll say this, Conor McGregor will be going to a Diddy party before he's having a next fight. And that Diddy party might only be in 30 to 50 years. So Conor McGregor's not fighting again.
Wow. Fred is calling it. The career is over for Conor.
That's a bold statement.
He might be right. He might be right.
Listen, man.
I think Conor's probably already been to that Diddy party.
It's possible.
I don't know what he's done. I don't know if anyone would try anything with Conor, though, you know? Because, I mean, if he takes it the wrong way, he's going to kill you with his hands. I don't think anybody's trying anything like that with Conor, to be honest. Like, Diddy could try that stuff with Meek Mill, but Conor will actually murder you with his hands. Like, if Meek Mill's not armed and he doesn't have his bodyguards, he's not doing much. But Conor, is capable. I don't think
with
Conor
the bodyguards, do you want to go in there? Do you want to go in there and tell Conor to stop? I mean, it's going to be a rough night for someone,
No. I think
Forget
Conor
it.
is.
But you know what?
He likes the ladies. He likes them a lot. A lot. Yeah.
That he does.
Yeah.
And his proper 12. But I'm going to tell you this, Dave.
In combination.
He's
It's a great combination for Conor.
It is.
It's got him into no trouble. No trouble.
It's a great St. Patrick's
Day smooth
night.
Sailing with all that.
Listen, he's a pretty bright guy when you look at it. Like, overall, the guy knows what he's doing. I mean, it's, everything from throwing the dolly through the bus window to everything you could think of, like the Khabib, whole incident. I mean, everything he's done, he's been relevant news. I mean, this guy has been, like on the top of every type of media, like, whatever type of hit, Conor's there, pay-per-view, blockbuster numbers, and now he's doing movie crazy blockbuster numbers. I mean, I think, I hate to say this, that Fred, is saying that Conor's fighting career is over. But, when you think about it, you've proved yourself. You're a 2-division champion. You're on the top of the game. You win, you lose some. Every fighter has gone through that, from Muhammad Ali to George St. Pierre, have won and lost. And so has Conor. But Conor, man, he realizes that maybe, there's more money to make without, busting your brain. He's got a long life ahead,
Yep.
And he can still
do it,
he can still be part of it.
Yep. We'll see what he does. Here's George St. Pierre today doing some sort of rehab on an injury. Says, finally today, I got the green light from the doc to start back to go live slowly in combat sports. GSP.
What?
Coming back
maybe jiu-jitsu.
Something. I think he's going to do that grappling. I think he's going to grapple.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be doing an MMA fight.
No. But there was all that Fight Pass invitational stuff. He was going to do a grappling match, and I think that's still on the table. I think it's just going to take some time, but he will do it eventually.
Good for him, man. I want to see George. Win or lose for George, it doesn't matter, man. But the thing is, it's nice to see him compete, And did you see the Hector Lombard video that was posted on Ringside? He was fighting that 7-foot judo guy, black belt judo guy. Holy
Hector
smokes,
Lombard. Man. No. I saw Demetrius Johnson beat up a giant guy in a jiu-jitsu tournament, which was pretty amazing. That was awesome.
Yeah, so you had both of them, man.
If you ever want to show somebody how jiu-jitsu works against all sizes, show them that Demetrius Johnson fight.
Yeah.
Or it also helps that he's maybe the greatest pound-for-pound fighter of all time. He's really, really good.
Yeah, but he's what? How tall is he?
And being so small, he might be the toughest MMA fighter of all time. Because when you weigh 100, remember when he started, he fought at 135. There wasn't even a 125 division. Yeah. And he got a title shot against Dominic Cruz, if I remember correctly. Yeah. He lost. But, man, this guy's one of the toughest professional athletes out there. And how intimidating must it be? Because, those jiu-jitsu tournament are filled with, everyday people. All these jiu-jitsu practitioners, most of them have other jobs and all that. And then you go there and you have to face Demetrius Johnson. That must be intimidating.
Yeah, the guy that Demetrius was facing was much bigger than him. But I saw he's a brown belt. I don't know him. He's not famous. And he's going in there against another brown belt in the absolute division who's much smaller than him, but also happens to be the legend Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, I kind of felt bad for the bigger guy, even though you're kind of rooting for Demetrius to, like, get the bigger guy and see how he's going to do it, because you know he's going to do it, too. Like, that was the thing watching the video. You're like, oh, how's Demetrius going to get this guy? And then he does, and you're like, oh. I felt bad for the brown belt going up against the other brown belt, who's Demetrius Johnson, because, like, the two brown belts aren't the same. Like, it's not really fair. Demetrius is a UFC
But Demetrius
champion.
lost in the finals, though.
Did he?
Won. Yeah, he lost in the finals against a guy.
Jeez.
Because that was like the semifinal fight, that one.
Imagine going to a jiu-jitsu tournament and you're a jiu-jitsu guy, you know, and you beat Demetrius Johnson in the finals. That's nice. That's nice for you. Jeez. Yeah, he's awesome. I always say I've never seen anyone shadow box as impressively as Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson. It was like a thing of beauty to watch that guy shadow box. I was at like an open workout for a fight that he had here, and he was just kind of like and just him moving around was ridiculous. It was like, what? How did his I didn't understand how his hands and feet moved that way. I'd never seen anybody that fluid, that perfect. It was ridiculous. Like, to see it up close was stupid. I've seen so many guys shadow box, right? Like, over the years, seeing open workouts. Like, I've seen world champions do it before. But Demetrius was like something else. I can't really explain it. It was like an alien. It was like an alien. I was like, what the fuck is it? What is that? You know? It was weird. It was like, it was so perfect. It was like bizarre. Just the way, and
that's why it goes to show you, Dave.
The
size
weight
doesn't
of it
matter.
All, it was nuts. He's so good. Like, if you're gonna learn how to fight, just do what Demetrius does. He does everything perfectly. Like, John Jones had a lot of success and everything, but technique-wise, Demetrius is like the guy. He's that guy in every aspect of the game. My God. I think Demetrius, like, technically is the best fighter that's ever fought in the UFC. Like, all around, I don't think there's anybody that's been better. I mean, just when he picked up that guy, and as he's dropping him, he puts him in the armbar and finishes him with the armbar.
It's crazy.
What? Like, that was crazy. He had him from the back, picks him up, drops it. You remember that finish? He did that in a championship fight in the UFC. I couldn't do that in sparring against a day one white belt. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like it's crazy hard to pull that off. He did it against a world championship level fighter in a world title fight in like the 4th round or something. Crazy, man. Like, he's so good. All right. I'll be back tomorrow night to talk pro wrestling with Johnny North. It's WrestleMania weekend, baby. Get ready. Shout out Lior.
Johnny must be hyped.
Shout out Lior. Shout out Angelo. Members of the team over at join.ringsidereport.net. Support the channel over at join.ringsidereport.net, just like Lior did, just like Angelo did. Shout out to everybody tuning in tonight. Brooklyn, Lizard, CSL, Lorne, Mika, Johnny North, of course, in the chat.
Big John.
I know John's not happy because my Yankees are 5-1 so far through 6 games of the season. Feels pretty good. Wait, no, 6-1, right? 7 games. 7 games? Yeah, 6-1. They beat the Diamondbacks again yesterday, and they have an off day today. And then tomorrow, they welcome the Blue Jays to the Bronx opening day in New York.
Oh, it's going to be good, man. I got to watch that.
Yep, it'll be on TV. I look forward to it. Yankees looking good so far. Looking pretty good. Pretty good. All right, I'll be back tomorrow night for Wrestling Uncensored, where we will preview WrestleMania here on the Ringside Report Network. Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word. Please share this episode on whichever social media platform you use. Add a comment below and consider reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website at ringsidereport.net. Hope to see you again next time, and have a good